He is an Emmy Award-winning stand-up comedian and comedic talk show writer who has channeled all of his talents into this, his debut memoir.
He is actually a riot as well. His book, T-Shirt Swim Club, Stories from Being Fat in a World of Thin People, is out now, and he's here to tell us all about it. Please welcome Ian Karmel.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
So we got to talk about the title.
Yes.
Right? So where did this title come from?
The title came from being a fat kid in a pool. There's this strange thing that happens to like every fat kid where we learn that we're fat, and then we learn that it's a bad thing, usually at the exact same time. And we're like, oh no, I better do something. And for some reason, our reaction is to put a t-shirt on when we go in the pool, thinking that is going to fool everyone into not noticing we're fat. When instead, it's just like clinging to every curve of your body and emphasizing how fat you are. So I figured that every fat kid would know immediately what this meant when they saw T-Shirt Swim Club, because we're the ones wearing T-shirts in the pool.
Your sister's a psychologist, right?
She's got a doctorate in clinical psychology.
Doctorate in clinical psychology.
Yeah.
You wrote this book with her.
Yes.
I'm wondering, have you worked with her on a project like this before, and what was it like working with your sister on this?
Never on a project like this before. All of our projects before like involved pranking our parents or trying to get...
sibling projects.
Sibling project, or like trying to get pizza for dinner or something like that.
You've worked on a lot of projects in your lifetime.
I would imagine.
Absolutely. There have been several projects. This was one of the only ones that didn't involve staying up late and watching a movie.
You're a stand-up comedian, so you do think of everything through the lens of what's funny about it.
Yeah.
This topic, for so many people, isn't funny for them. So was it hard for you?
It was very difficult for me. That was probably the hardest part of the book, was every time I would, because in writing this book, I wanted to be as vulnerable as possible. I wanted to be as detailed as possible. I wanted to talk about not just the joys of being fat, and there are many of those, but also like the really hard stuff, the really dark stuff. And every time I started doing that, I would be like, all right, and let's build toward the punchline and let everyone off the hook. Let's break that tension. And when I found myself doing that, I was like, I'm losing a lot of the honesty in this book. So I had to be very disciplined in being like, no, steer towards the reality of it, steer towards the pain.
Well, just like comedy, honesty and reality is the best way to go. You get the best laughs, but you also make people connect.
And people can tell, whether they're reading a book or watching this show or going to see a stand-up comedy show, like people know when they're being lied to. Yeah. People know when you're exaggerating things or you're not telling the whole truth. And when you are being honest, I think that really comes through too. People are smart, you know? And I didn't want to condescend to anyone, and I think, hopefully it comes through in the book.
It takes a lot of courage to tell your truth. Ian, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
And you can pick up a copy of T-Shirt Swim Club everywhere books are sold, or you can scan that QR code right there at the bottom of your screen if you'd like to purchase a copy.